Right, good morning everyone. Kindly stand up as we ask Miss Angel to kindly lead us in prayer. Angel? Amen. Okay, good morning everyone. You may now be seated and kindly say present as your name is called. Okay. Okay, very good. Perfect attendance. Thank you so much for coming, everyone. So, who among you here can still remember about the topic we've discussed yesterday? What was it all about? Yes? Very good. Rational expression. So, what is a rational expression? Yes. Expression. Yes, very good. That is correct. So, a rational expression is an expression written in the form very much like this, P over Q, where both P and Q are polynomials and Q is not equal to 0, right? So that is a rational expression. Do you still have any questions regarding rational expressions? Anyone? Okay, if none, then we'll move on to our next topic, which is variations. So, have you read your textbook about variations? Yes. Okay, that is correct. Variation is a relationship of two variables, right? So, who among you here are in a relationship? Okay, settle down, right? What we must understand is that even in numbers, relationships are also present. And in our topic for today, it is about relationship of two variables. Okay, so what is a variable again? Okay, yes. Awesome. A variable is any letter or symbol that represents any number, right? It can be changed. That is why it is called variable. It varies, right? So, okay. There are three types of variations. Can you read this for me, everyone? Okay. Okay. Joint variations, that's right. But for today's topic, we are only going to discuss about direct and inverse variations. So, joint variations can wait, right? For consider this situation. For example, your classmate Odette, yes, Odette, and let's say that she is in a relationship with your other classmate Johnson. Okay, yes, right? So Odette and Johnson. Now, Johnson is driving along the national highway, right? He's bound to Surigao City where Odette is waiting for him, and at a constant speed of 80 kilometers per hour. Our question is, how far has Johnson gone for the last 2 hours, right? This represents the time and this represents the distance. So, for the last 2 hours, how far had Johnson gone for the last 3 hours? How about in 5 hours? How about in a number of hours, right? How far has he gone? That is our question. And we can only answer this question if we know and if we have a certain knowledge about variations and the recognition of relationship between certain quantities. So, does anyone know about the difference between direct and inverse variation? Right? Yes, that is correct. Direct variation is the quotient between two quantities, P and Q, while inverse variation is a product of two quantities, P and Q, right? So, let's assume that we have a constant number. In variations, there should be at least one constant, right? So, for direct variation, we have the formula P is equal to K over Q, where P and Q are variables and K is our constant. So, from this equation, we can use cross multiplication so that we can get this other equation to transfer the constant to the other side of the equation, and wherein K is equal to P over Q, right? So, whereas for inverse variation, this is our working formula. P is equal to K over Q, or K is equal to P multiplied by Q. So this is a product and this is a quotient, right? That is their difference. Okay, for direct variation, we can assume that if one variable increases, the other variable also increases. That is their relationship. As one increases, the other also increases, right? Meaning they are directly proportional to each other. So, whereas in inverse variations, if one variable increases, the other decreases. And if this other variable decreases, then the other increases. They are inversely proportional with each other. Now we go on to the example so that we better understand the situation, right? So for direct variation, we have this example. We are asked to find K if P varies directly as Q, where P is equal to 24 when Q is equal to 3. So we are given the values of P and Q, right? So from this equation, we are asked to find the constant K. So we put this formula here and then input the given numbers, right? P and Q, and then we get the letter K, which is constant, right? So P is equal to 24 and Q is equal to 3. So 24 divided by 3 is how much? Awesome. Number 8, right? So that is how we find the constant K. So for example, number 2. Candies are sold at 50 centavos each. How much will 4 candies cost? Let X be the price of 4 candies because we are asking to find X. We are asked to find X. So this is a working equation, right? For one candy, it cost 50 centavos. For 4 candies, it cost how much in centavos, right? So we do cross multiplication. We multiply X by 1. This is X. We multiply 4 by 50, right? So in this way, we can find the missing variable X, which is 4 times 50, it is 200 centavos. And 200 centavos is the price of 4 candies. So where did we get this equation? It comes from this formula, wherein X sub 1 and X sub 2 is equal to Y sub 1 over Y sub 2. As long this happens if K is equal and constant among them, right? So if we do cross multiplication, we can have x1 multiplied by y sub 2, which is equal to x2, which is multiplied by y sub 1. Take note that x sub 1 and y sub 2 are called the means, and this other side of the equation is called the extremes, right? So from this formula, we have gained this equation, thereby identifying the missing from this question. Okay, very good. So inverse variations. Let's move on to inverse variations. So these are the working equations of inverse variations. In question number 1, we are asked that if y varies inversely as x and y is equal to 48 when x is equal to 10, find y when x is equal to 32, right? So the inverse variation form is this. x1 y1 is equal to x2 y2, right? So same as direct variation, we find first all the given so that we can identify what we are looking for, right? So y sub 1 is given, x sub 1 is given, x sub 2 is given, which is 32, and we are asked to find y sub 2. So from this equation of inverse variations, we can get that y sub 2 is equal to 15, right? So that's it. For example number 2, for a given gas of constant temperature, the pressure varies inversely. When we say inversely, that is the clue that it is about inverse variations, right? So as the volume V, if P is equal to 6 when V equals 24, then find P when V equals 32. So take note. For this problem, we can have two solutions, right? So the first solution, first we get K. We get the constant K. So we are given P1 and V1, which is equal to K, the constant. And P1 is 6, V1 is 24. So we have K, which is equal to 144. Now we have K, right? So we use this formula again, right? And we input all the given, which are K and volume 2, and wherein K is 144 and volume 2 is 36. Very good. And P2 is equal to 4, right? So very good. Now, that is the first solution. We find K. But we have a second solution. This is how we do it. We use this inverse variation form, right? Take note of this. And find the variable that we are looking for. So, P1, V1 are both given. We have to find P2. So, substitute the numbers given. And now we have P2 is equal to 6 times 24 over 36. Divided by 36, we have P2 is equal to 4. So that's it. That is inverse variation, everyone. What you have to take note of is that these equations are very useful, right? These equations very useful. Also this one and this one. So take note of that. Now, so that you can understand this better, right? Let's put it in layman's terms. So let's say K is equal to forever, so that you can remember this, right? P is equal to your classmate Layla, and Q is equal to Amon. Yes, Amon. So this is direct variation form, right? K is equal to P over Q. They are divided. Inverse variation form is K is equal to P multiplied by Q. They are multiplied. They are together. So if we somehow, right, change these values to these values, we have indirect variation forever is equal to Layla divided by Amon. May forever ba? Wala, right? So walang forever indirect variation because there is division between them. So remember that, okay? However, in inverse variation, we have K is equal to P times Q. And if we substitute these values, we have, yes, forever equals Layla and Amon. Yay! And if you understand, let's all together say, Sana all, right? So, do you have any questions about this matter? Any questions, anyone? Okay, if none, let's have a short quiz. Okay, very good. So kindly pass this paper to your classmates. Yes, very good. Thank you. Okay. Now, my instructions are, please detach the first paper. That is your short quiz. And you have to answer it within 15 minutes, okay? And the second paper is your homework. You have to answer that. I will be collecting that tomorrow, okay? So 15 minutes starts now. Okay. And time's up. Okay, pass your papers. Okay, please, Aldous, kindly collect the papers of your classmates. Thank you so much. If there are no more questions, please make sure that you have your homework tomorrow. Okay, yes. Okay, any questions? None? If none, then class dismissed. Goodbye, class. Thank you for coming.